Hello, hello, and welcome back to Death Stranding, the board game, where we're making a Death Stranding board game. Last time we made a bigger map and finished the highway system layout. So, to talk a bit more about the mechanics of the game, because I feel like I haven't been talking about it nearly enough, the idea is that each blue marker is going to be a space on the map you can move to, as well as the yellow markers that represent the highway. Normally, you can move like a space a turn, or you can expend energy to move extra spaces, but then you'll have to rest and drink energy drink on your turn and stuff like that. But the yellow, if you invest the resources needed to build a highway section, the player who builds it will get a bunch of likes, the things that you need to win the game. The winner of the game is whoever has the most likes at the end of its run. But you also create a path that's easier for both you and others to utilize in the future. And every time somebody walks a stretch of highway that you contributed to the creation of, you'll get a like. The idea of the game is that you can build structures, and when other players use your structures, you'll get likes for that. That's going to be like one of the primary gameplay loops mechanics of the game. But yeah, so right now, all of the blue markers are more or less marking points of interest. But now what I gotta do is fucking make it so that they, I gotta make the rest of the map, which is honestly the part of this that I'm gonna dread the most, I think. Let's make this 3 thick. So yeah, these spaces connect. These lines mark like the path that you can walk for one movement on your turn. What's nice is because of how I've faded out the highway, I can do this. Let's just make that one space in the middle. Here we go. Boom, boom, boom. There we go. And we've connected the engineer up to the other guy. Now let's connect Peter Engler into the system we have here. And the first way we're going to do that is with a a bridge right there. I feel like it would make sense to give players this direct route if they want to use it. But of course, you'll need another bridge. So to cross rivers, you need to use a bridge, essentially. And a bridge needs to be built, etc. And I'm thinking I might make it you're allowed to ford these spaces without, but you will like damage your package if you do that. You know what I mean? This route will be faster, but it will arguably faster. Hang on. I guess it all depends on the route you're taking, because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 versus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, you know what? Whatever. Well, also, all these, every one of these tiles, when you start the game, you'll put little tokens face down. So you won't actually start the game knowing where Peter Engler is, where the old man is, where the engineer is. No, you won't know where any of your people you're delivering packages to are at the start of the game. They will be able to be any one of these spaces, and that's going to be a whole part of the game. And that I think will be fun. So actually, hang on. In that sense, you know what I actually want to do? Remove all of these things that I just did. What would it look like if I put a grid on the map? View, show, grid. Let's make the grid a little bit bigger. View, grid, settings. Let's go with 20 by 20. Let's make it a little bit bigger. Grid size. It's going to be 25 by 25. 205. Little bit bigger. 30 by 30. Let's go with 40 by 40. That feels good. And this, I think I'm going to use this now as a sort of pseudo guide of... I want to avoid having the dots too clustered, basically, is what I'm going for here. And this is going to sort of give me an idea of how clustered is too clustered. This is all areas you can choose to build a bridge. Boom. 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 Hang on. No, I'm... Game design is hard. I've decided I don't like the grid. No, no, stop showing the grid. Alright, so I want... What is happening? I'm on the highway layer. Did I undo some of the highway? No, the highway's all good still. Yeah, I think... I'm just gonna play it by feel. What feels right, you know? Hang on. I don't like how messy these lines look the way I'm making them. So what we're gonna do... Hang on. What we're gonna do is we're just gonna make these lines green for now. And that's gonna denote, like, hey, later on I'm gonna change the color of these. Stop, I'm trying to... There we go. No, fuck. Sorry for the flashbang. Green means the line is temporary. Eventually I'll do cleaner looking blue lines to actually interconnect everything. Sorry for all those green flashbangs. There we go. Peter Engler is wired into the system. Let's wire these mules in. There we go. Let's get the roboticist wired in. With a marker here. And just do this to... Or hang on, let's... bum. Yeah, this is slowly fleshing out into a nice big map. Alright. Let's now extend off towards the end, getting the engineer in the areas around him wired into our system. So I'm gonna want this. Now it's important to note that the highway markers are still considered more or less tiles you can step on. Decided we're gonna remove that because I don't see any point in making a player build a thing there. Let's get our river marker. Just thinking. Hang on, so there's the bridge-free version of crossing this. Hang on. We're trying to big brain here. So I've realized placing those little bridge markers on every corner is just not gonna actually work. You know, it's too much. It's unreasonable. So what we're gonna do instead, we're gonna go to the map layer. We're gonna highlight all of the water. Let's turn down our tolerance to 9. All right, that made all of the water on the map brighter and more noticeable. And the reason we want to do that now is we're more or less going to have a mechanic that says, like, hey, if you want to cross these bodies of water... There's going to be a rule on the rule book that more or less says, hey, every time you're crossing, like, a body of water, which is the bright blue spaces on the map, you will have to, like, use a resource of some kind or risk damaging your things, and players can build a bridge on any path on the map that crosses a river in order to make it easier to cross, but then every time somebody crosses that bridge, they get a like. I think that makes more sense as a way of handling the river stuff. I'll clean a lot of this up more later. Or no, you know, we're doing it. Let's just do this now. This is gonna be the river episode. Let's thicken this up, make it a little bit more clear that there's a river here. Come on. In rivers. There we go. Nice thicker brush to help me with this better. Oh, fuck. All right, hang on. Redo that and we'll just erase a little bit. Come on. God damn it. Yes, yes. My board game, it's coming together. Like a good orgy. Oh, we didn't mark up the hot spring that's located right next to him. You know, we'll mark it up later. Oh god, all these little swampy areas are so annoying. Let's go and deal with this river for now. Oh my goodness. Ugh. What stinks is I couldn't have made it more sensitive without also, like, you know, selecting a bunch of things I didn't want to select. Brush through. Damn it. Brush through like this. There we go. There we go. Get a bigger brush. Too big. And just start running up the river with it. Go. All right, back down to a smaller size. There we go. Yes. Yes, it's all coming together now. Dun, 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 dun. There we go. Oh man. Oh, all these areas. I'm gonna go ahead and call these streams here negligible streams, and they're not gonna be ones that the player needs to spend resources to move across, because that's what they are in the actual game, is negligible. Yeah, I know that some of the other areas I'm marking off right now could probably be argued as being negligible, but I'm not. I don't care. I'm doing it. It's my board game. If you don't like it, make your own. Oh, man. Oh, man. Gonna go ahead and, I don't want to bother dealing with that. So I'm gonna say that it's all also negligible. I just won't build any roads crossing those areas. There we go. Yes, excellent. Excellent. Go, fill all of this in nicely enough. Damn it. I gotta take my finger off the mouse more often, so I lose less when I undo things. Good to meet. There we go. I've had a realization of a way I can do this better in a second. Push across all of this. Just highlight all of the really thinned out ones is what I'm trying to do right now. And now what I do is I highlight all of it. Edit, effects, matrix, and we're gonna give a blur effect to all of it. Oh, maybe that was too much of a blur. Hang on. Effects. Edit. Hue and saturation. Saturate it a little bit more. Ooh, maybe that's a little too much saturation. There we go. And so, yeah, anytime the players are crossing the blue rivers on foot, it's gonna be you're gonna have to, yeah, you know what I'm trying to say. But if you're either crossing off of or onto a bridge tile, like a bridge that a player has built, then you don't have to worry about it. Yee, okay, here we go. So now, I can just... give me a second. Board game layer. Now I can just continue what I was doing here, But, like, not have to... Now I need to actively not place them on rivers is what the difference I've just made is. So let's... Hang on. Let's bring back the grid! Woo! Make it a 50 by 50. Alright, and I want to, generally speaking, not have more than one square or dot per square. But I'm not going to strictly adhere myself to this grid that is existing here. It's like, yeah, let's put a dot here. Here. You know, I think I want to do a slightly bigger size than 50 by 50. Let's go 60-60. And so now, as I'm placing, I want to, for the most part, avoid having more than one dot per square with some exceptions. But I also want to have at least one dot per square with some exceptions. Because I want to encourage people, because the shelters can be anywhere, I want to encourage a lot of running around and exploring. Go. And so here's... Can do this. Boom. 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 E. Hang on, actually. I know, I keep fucking hitting the undo button a fuck ton of times, doing things and then undoing. That's just the process sometimes. How long have we been going on this episode? 28 minutes? You know what, for the YouTube crowd, that's gonna be the end of this episode. So let me just turn the grid off for a second. This was the river episode more than anything. No, I'm trying to turn off show grid. Yee. So yeah, this episode is mostly about getting the rivers looking good and figuring out how I was going to treat them. So when you're moving, whenever you cross a river, you either need to expend a ladder, or whenever the player moves on a path that crosses a river, they have to either expend a ladder, expend a stamina, or deal damage to all carried packages. That's how that's gonna work. Ooh. Unless there's a bridge. If there's a bridge either on the tile you are crossing or the tile you have just stepped off of, either the one you're stepping onto or stepping off of, then you don't need to do that. But you have to give a like to whoever the bridge belongs to. You can't give yourself likes. Yeah. All right. Yeah, hope you all enjoyed this episode. We'll continue with this project next time. Love you very much, and ta-ta for now.